is Wednesday, December 30th. Welcome back to a Daily Dose of Hope.
And I can't believe the year is almost over. I love it's almost our last Daily Dose of Hope for 2020.
Man, clock is ticking. Hey, we're in the scriptures talking a little bit about what this new year means and how we can sort of face it and make it the best 2021 if possible. And James 1:22 came to mind for both of us. It says simply that we are to be doers of the word and not hearers only. What's this mean for our friends?
You know, Bill, when we think about, again, transformation versus resolutions, and we recognize that it's God who's doing the transforming work in us, so God works in us from the inside out, there still comes a point when I have to make choices. So God works and God moves, but in the end, I've got to be the one that says, you know what, I'm not going to go open up the fridge and eat the tub of cookie dough, or I'm not going to grab the bag of chips, or I'm not going to open up a browser on my phone and look at porn, or I'm not going to look to sneak a drink or a pill. The bottom line is, at some point in this transformation process, I'm responsible for the choices that I make. And that is something we cannot forget as the new year comes and God lays this on our heart to change this area or change that area. God says, I want you to grow here, I want you to grow there. In the end, He's doing some transforming work in my heart and life, but I have a choice I have to make.
And He says He empowers us to will and to do His good pleasure, to will and to do, yet He doesn't make me do.
That's correct. The beautiful thing about God's grace is, God's grace comes, and if we'll listen, if we'll accept it, if we'll receive it, if we'll cooperate with God, as we talked about yesterday, God will give us the desire to do the right thing, and He'll give us the power to choose to do the right thing. But in the end, you and I still have to make the choice. We are not victims. We are not powerless in this. We can make a choice with God's grace, with God's help. But if you don't make a choice, things are going to be the same as they've always been.
And I know I'm opening up a can with this question that we need to deal with at another time, but just for our friends, when we don't do and we fail, that shame that comes on us, how do we handle that?
Well, what we do is we immediately confess, God, I failed. And God washes over us and says, I forgive you, I love you. You know when you can start fresh and new? You can start fresh and new right now. And we start fresh and new right now. And that's the beautiful thing. Sometimes we think that the only time we can start fresh and new is January 1. We can start fresh and new any day, at any moment.
Hallelujah.
Fresh and new because of God's grace.
That's a good word, y'all. That's a good word. A marathon runner doesn't fall at mile 7 and go back to the beginning to start running again. You taught me that.
Yes.
It's a great word.
It is.
You pick up and take off from where you are.
That's right. That's right. Now, of course, you and I, we probably wouldn't get to mile 7 to begin with.
Yeah.
But that's another story.
That is another story for another day. We love you. He loves you. He loves you even more. Walk with Him. We'll talk to you tomorrow.